Hi Pete, so it's Tersse back in this box again, and I'm talking again about religion, science, evolution, that sort of shit, right? So, yeah, you get those, Kent Hovens and say, well, yeah, you say you think this is what happened in the past, and we say that that can't possibly be true because our book says that dinosaurs existed be man because the world is only 6,000 years old, so man and dinosaurs must have existed because you're digging up and examining bones and you say those bones are thousands of years old, millions of years old, hundreds of millions of years old, and we just can't accept that. We just can't accept that, because you weren't there, so you don't know. And we weren't there and we don't know, but we're just going by this book that tells us what happened, but you don't have a book. You don't have a book to tell you. You're just making stuff up. And my answer to that is, do you remember the plague that swept through Europe hundreds of years ago? Well, do you know what? The scientists of today weren't there. They weren't there to see it. They don't know what that plague was. And then there was a plague in South America that the Spanish supposedly took there, in the 14th, 15th century. And we weren't there. We don't know about that. But you know what? this is the funny thing. We fucking do know about it. We fucking do know about that disease. We do know about the pox. We do know about the Black Plague. We do know about the syphilis in South America. We do know about the Black Plague, the bubonic plague in Europe, hundreds of years ago. Do you know why? Because people have dug bones up. They've dug up bones from hundreds of years ago and examined those bones, and they're even able to date those bones as from hundreds of years ago. They can distinguish them from bones that were buried last week and from bones that were buried hundreds of years ago. And they can tell you that yes, the Black Plague was a real thing. It wasn't just a thing people wrote about. Or there's people dying, dropping in the streets. Here's my wife with suppurating wounds on her. No, we're not just going by diaries from 400, 500, 600, 700 years ago. No. We're actually going and digging up pits where all these bodies were thrown in, and we're examining the bones, and we can say, well, this person suffered from arthritis, this person suffered from this, but there's also the telltale signs of syphilis in the bone, and there's also the telltale signs that these bodies died from the Black fucking Plague, so how do you think science is able to do that? And everybody in the world accepts that these things are true, but digging bones up from 1,000,000 years ago and examining them and saying, well, he's a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and it must have suffered quite a while through its life, because when it was young, it obviously had its bone broken in its left leg, but it survived that break because probably its mother and its father, or its group that it was in, because we believe they worked in groups now, protected it and fed it until its leg healed up. But it must have been in pain its whole life with this broken bone, and osteoporosis in its knee. It would still be able to move about, but it would probably slow the group down, so they would probably go off and hunt. Somebody would have protected it when it was young, and then, brought food back. We can tell that from bones of fucking dinosaurs, just the same way we can tell from the bones of 300 to 400-year-old human beings. But creationists think, well, yeah, it's fine, I can accept that for 300 or 400-year-old human beings because they're not older than 5,000 or 6,000 years, which is what I believe the age of the world is. But I can't believe exactly the same kind of, diagnosis synopsis made on a bone from 85 million years ago. I can't believe that, because that's beyond the bounds of my 5,000-year-old mentality. You know, I mean, are these people fucking so stupid that rational, normal, intelligent people can't look at the fucking facts of how we do science today on stuff under the 5,000 or 6,000 year barrier, and then apply that beyond the 5,000 and 6,000 year barrier, and then they say, well yes, it applies inside the 5,000 or 6,000 year barrier, but it doesn't apply outside it, because that's, it's like, well, my brain just says there's a black wall there and nothing existed beyond that, so it can't be true. But the truth of how we do science inside the 5,000 year barrier, it certainly falls down outside the 5,000 year barrier. Is that what they're saying? We can tell how pox went from Europe to South America. We can tell how the Black Plague spread from Italy and the Mediterranean all the way through Europe to Britain. I mean, we can actually, we can put that down as like a timeline, where it hit and where the pits were made and where people died, and it works if it's under 6,000 years, but it doesn't work when it's beyond 6,000 years into the past. Just got to say, these people fail on every fucking level, man. Fractal failure. Fractal failure in understanding of how to look at the world. So I'll give that.